Good evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Grant Olson is away this evening. I'm Jefferson Robbins. Much news to report tonight, but before we get started, we should take a quick look outside our weather window. This is the Upper Butte camera focused on beautiful Lake Chelan. It's just lovely up there. I mean, really, you couldn't get a better picture postcard. Some slate gray skies, like you see here, have been the rule pretty much all day today, with no appreciable precipitation. And there's been exceptionally light winds. That plus temperatures in the 40s means all that residual snow you see there and that which is left in your yard from the January blizzard is soon to be a thing of the past. Possible showers are in the forecast for tonight. And as for tomorrow, Dan Kuntz will be along later in this broadcast to fill you in. But right now, a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Washington's new capital gains tax is struck down after a challenge in Douglas County Court. But the state says the fight's not over. A head-on vehicle crash near Orondo in June of 2020 has now led to criminal charges being filed just this week. And no vaccination card or negative COVID test is required anymore to attend shows at the Numerica Performing Arts Center. But first, our top story tonight, the Wenatchee Communications Center that dispatches Washington State troopers in the Valley and beyond will close effective June 30th. The Washington State Patrol says it only has half the number of staff in Wenatchee that it needs to take calls and send troopers to incidents on the highways in State Patrol District 6. That district includes Chelan, Douglas, Grant, and Okanogan counties. All those troopers will now be dispatched by operators in Yakima, Marysville, and Spokane. State Patrol spokesman Chris Loftus spoke with me today. He says the decision was made just last month.
We have currently 8 call centers, so we'll be moving it down to 7. It's a hard decision to make. We realize that it impacts the lives of not only our employees, but the communities in which they live. But it was necessary. We're at a 50% vacancy right now at the Wenatchee Center. And even with robust recruiting efforts, we've gone from 83% just a few years ago employment rate to I think 71 in 2021, and now it's down to 50%. And we just can't sustain that. It's not fair for the employees that are there to have to be overburdened with tasking. It's not fair to the other call centers to have episodic transfers of calls over to them, and so not being able to plan appropriately.
Now, Loftus says the State Patrol's move affects 9 currently employed workers, including 3 telecommunicators. 3 of those 9 employees have agreed to move to new dispatch centers to keep their jobs. In a joint meeting on Tuesday, Chelan and Douglas County commissioners said they hope to meet with the State Patrol about the decision, and they worry how it will affect highway response in their counties.
I see it causing delay. I see it as not as a safe move for the protection of our men and women in blue that provide safety and security to our communities. And I see that you're going to have dispatchers in Marysville and Spokane, predominantly for our 2 counties, that won't know the landmarks and won't know the reference points and things like that, which will actually increase the amount of time to get emergency services dispatched.
In Douglas County, Superior Court Judge Brian Huber ruled yesterday that Washington's new tax on capital gains violates the state constitution's ban on a personal income tax. The ruling struck down the law that was passed in April of last year that would have imposed a 7% tax on an individual's long-term capital gains of $250,000 or more from the sales of stocks and bonds. 2 major lawsuits challenging the tax were combined into one, and Huber heard arguments on February 4th. In his ruling, Huber wrote that the 7% tax conflicts with the state constitution's requirement that taxes be fairly applied across all incomes, and that the law is, quote, properly characterized as an income tax. Attorney General Bob Ferguson, whose office argued the case on the state's behalf, announced that he would appeal the ruling and said that the case will ultimately be decided by the state Supreme Court. Well, a Chelan Falls man who was involved in a serious highway accident nearly 2 years ago now faces charges of vehicular assault. Washington State Patrol troopers say 64-year-old Patrick Thomas Brighton was impaired by meth and cannabis when he crashed his 1999 Cadillac Seville head-on into a landscaping company's pickup truck on Highway 2 east of Orondo. The crash on June 25, 2020, left Brighton with a broken leg and the passenger in the pickup with a broken hand and sternum. On Tuesday, Douglas County prosecutors filed charges of vehicular assault, reckless endangerment, and DUI. Brighton must make his first appearance in Douglas County Superior Court on March 21st. Well, the Numerica Performing Arts Center in Wenatchee today became the latest public facility to cease requiring proof of COVID-19 vaccination or negative test to attend events there. The Town Toyota Center lifted those requirements on Tuesday following new guidelines from the state. The PAC has required proof of vaccination or a negative test since September 1st. Both PAC Executive Director J. Woody Lotz and Town Toyota Center Executive Director Mark Miller said the state's COVID-19 requirements have made public events challenging, with both facilities seeing significant drops in attendance. When we come back, NCW's members of Congress attended President Biden's State of the Union speech last night, and they have some notes. Plus, NIAT's fire department will say goodbye to 2 veteran members this week, including its longtime chief. I'm Jefferson Robbins. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
When it comes to finding a memory care community, you want the very best. You want to know that your loved one is safe and receiving compassionate care in a loving environment. Fieldstone Memory Care is an innovative assisted living community designed for those with Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's disease. You'll find a community specifically designed to enrich residents' lives. The Fieldstone team is here to help you navigate the important decisions you face when a loved one has dementia or Alzheimer's. Welcome home to Fieldstone.
911, what is the address of your emergency?
Yes, it's me. It's my husband. I think he's had there's something the matter with him.
It was a feeling that I'll never forget, like being able to meet them and know that he survived.
Okay, tell me what's happening. Is he conscious?
No, he's not. He's not.
Okay, take a deep breath for me. I'm getting you help.
Rivercom means to me that I still have my husband here with me. They're the ones that guided me through saving his life.
Welcome back. In other news tonight, the State of the Union took place last night, and North Central Washington's 2 congressional representatives both agree and disagree about President Joe Biden's address. Both praised Biden's efforts on Ukraine and his efforts to bring America back from the COVID-19 pandemic to a certain degree, but they called for more to be done. 8th District Representative Kim Schreier, a Democrat, praised the speech but also said, quote, "Washington families continue to struggle with high prices. President Biden and I agree that we must bring down the cost of prescription drugs, especially life-saving drugs like insulin, and bring down the cost of everyday goods like gas and groceries." 4th District Representative Dan Newhouse, a Republican, had this to say.
Well, President Biden acknowledged the inflationary crisis and the current attack on Ukraine by Russia. To me, he failed to provide any real solutions or recognize that serious policy reversals have got to be made if we're going to overcome these crises. Instead, President Biden focused on his infrastructure package and touted his clean energy investments. All good stuff, right? But Americans right now are struggling to pay to heat their homes, to fill their tanks, or to put food on their tables. No mention of anything of those issues. And bragging about investments in new and tested technologies, to me, is just out of touch.
Well, the town of Entiat will bid farewell to 2 of its top-ranking firefighters at a retirement celebration on Thursday night. The public is invited to the event, which begins with an open house at 3 p.m. at Chelan County Fire District 8, Station 1. The ceremonies begin at 6 p.m. Chief Mike Asher has been with the department since 1974, when he was one of the district's early founders. Deputy Chief Lee Jones will be honored alongside him as he moves into his own retirement. Adam Jones, who is a captain with Chelan Fire and Rescue, will assume the duties of Entiat Fire Chief. Well, 2 new gun laws received final approval in the Washington legislature on Tuesday and now await Governor Jay Inslee's signature. House Bill 1705, the so-called ghost guns ban, was approved by a 26-23 vote in the Senate. Also passed by the Senate was House Bill 1630, which prohibits firearms at school board and municipal meetings, as well as elections-related places. That bill passed the Senate 28-20. 12th District Senator Brad Hawkins joined his fellow Republicans in opposing both bills. They were earlier approved in the House. Still awaiting action in the House is Senate Bill 5078, which prohibits the sale of gun magazines with a capacity of more than 10 rounds. That bill remains in the House Rules Committee after it was approved February 9th by the state Senate. Now you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, Dan Kuntz joins us with the weather, as well as a conversation with the cast and crew of Wenatchee High School's Frozen. That and much more still to come on the
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
Somewhere behind these doors is a family member, often alone, taking care of a loved one with Alzheimer's or some other disability, or providing care for a loved one who is not ill but only aging and no longer able to care for themselves. In the field of caregiving, this is the home front. For the home is where most Americans will live out their last days. Contact Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington for a variety of services including caregiving, meals, and medication help.
With TV advertising, what we want to do is more deeply connect with the community.
People spot me in different parts around North Central, Costco and Wenatchee, say, hey, you're the pizza guy. And so they wouldn't know that if it weren't for the TV commercials we've done.
We've been here so long that people already know who we are and what we do, but to have that image flash on their television screen as opposed to just hearing it in the radio or seeing it in the newspaper, I just love the fact that we can actually put our finger on when a customer comes in and says, I saw your ad.
It's becoming increasingly difficult in this digital age to know where are your customers listening or watching, because I watch all the different channels that they watch too, like Cooking Channel, History Channel, and so it was wonderful to be able to be on there.
I would say that if you want to do business in Wenatchee, then you should connect with the people of Wenatchee, and there's no better way to do that than with NCWLIFE.
News, weather, and sports. It's all here weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 on your local news source, the NCWLIFE channel.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. After having its production of Frozen put on ice, if you will, last November by COVID-19 restrictions, the Wenatchee High School Choir Department will return to the stage with the Disney Classic beginning tonight at the high school. Director Paul Atwood and actor Gabe Kimmel, who plays Hans, talked with Wake Up Wenatchee Valley's Dan Kuntz about how excited they are to return to the stage.
We haven't put on a show in 2.5 years here.
That's true.
So it's time.
But
time.
I mean,
they're itching to get out there and perform for a live audience, because as you know and I know, there's nothing like live theater, and I can't wait for this show. Even though it has adult themes in it, these kids are gonna just totally eat it up.
Absolutely.
They're totally gonna eat up, and I think it's gonna be a great time. And yeah, we're ready.
What's your history with theater here? Is this something you've been involved with since you were just a kid?
Absolutely. I mean, I've been doing theater since I think 5th grade, and I'm a junior now. And I've done most of the shows they've done here. And it's a good time. It's a good way to meet people.
He was in.
It's great.
What was the last show we did? Online. The Descendants.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah.
We didn't have a lot of live audience. We had to just film it. And,
we did.
It was pretty good. It was for a live feed type of thing, but it's
not the same.
No. And they got me in the audience laughing at them and stuff, but
audibly,
and clapping. And, yeah, you did that right, But this is, they didn't have that experience, which I'm so, am sad that these young actors didn't get that for the last couple of years. So it's time.
Dan Kuntz filling in for Grant Olson, taking a well-deserved day off. He'll be back tomorrow. I'll be handling Your weather forecasting. We always begin our forecast with a beautiful shot of somewhere in north central Washington or the Wenatchee Valley. The cross camera, of course, will do the honors today. And you can see my house about there. And Malcolm, our producer, lives right about there or so. I kind of like that view. Very nice day today. It wasn't bad at all. We're in for a very quiet period of weather, really, all things considered. Topping up at 50 today, just a couple of degrees above normal. 31 for our normal overnight low, or for 31 for the low. Our normal low, just about that same mark. In fact, you're going to notice these temperatures are going to be very consistent over the next 5 days, all the way into Tuesday of next week. Normal highs are going to start creeping up now as we get longer and longer days. We're at 11 hours and 9 minutes of daylight today. I like it when we got past the 11-hour mark. Just a little bit of light sprinkles, not even enough to register on the rain gauge today at Pangbourne. So that keeps our precipitation today where it has been for the last day or so at 1.59 inches. The snowfall, of course, haven't had much of that. 44 inches of snow so far this year. Of course, most of those coming down back on January 6th and 7th. And as I mentioned before, we're above 11 hours of daylight now. Spring is getting closer, and it's going to feel like spring. As we get into the forecast period, let's take a look at your high temperatures you can expect tomorrow around north central Washington. The basin always a couple of degrees warmer. That's going to be the case, of course, tomorrow. Moses Lake, Ephrata, Quincy are always a couple of ticks higher than the Wenatchee Valley proper. Ellensburg, the big story tomorrow for you guys, you're going to have some wind tomorrow in Ellensburg. It's part and parcel for that area. The Wenatchee Valley will top off at about 48, Cashmere 48. Again, the Upper Valley, as usual, slightly cooler. Leavenworth about 44, 43 in Lake Wenatchee. And Omac's not going to bust out of those mid-40s, which is also kind of normal for this time of year. So what's going on? Well, we have one more weak little system. It's going to come in tonight. It's going to be almost imperceptible. It's just a weak little trough. It's going to kind of slide in and slide out. So tonight in the overnight hours, we are going to see maybe about a 40% chance of rain. I don't think it's really going to happen, and even if we do get measurable rain, it ain't going to be very much. This system exits during the course of the day on Thursday, and by Thursday afternoon, gobs of good sunshine. So you're going to wake up tomorrow morning with some clouds. Eventually, they'll break up. High pressure, you can't see it, but there's a big ridge of high pressure just off the Pacific coast. It's going to start settling up there, and this is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And all the weather systems out in the Pacific Ocean are going to bump right into that high pressure dome. It's going to go up or down, north or south, but it ain't going to make it here into the Pacific Northwest, and that means bountiful sunshine starting Thursday afternoon, right into Friday, into Saturday, into Sunday. It's going to start moving, that high-pressure ridge is going to start moving down a little bit down the Oregon coast by Monday and Tuesday, but it's really not going to change our weather a great deal. If anything, maybe just a couple of degrees cooler. That's really about it, but you want sunshine, you're going to get it, and a lot of it. And again, it starts on Thursday afternoon, and this high-pressure ridge is going to keep all the bad weather away all the way through Tuesday of next week. Yeah. It's going to feel like spring. Bring it on. All right, one more look at it for the rest of the day today. We're going to get up to about 50 degrees. Again, late this afternoon into the early evening hours, maybe overnight, we could see a stray raindrop or two. I have my doubts. 37 for the overnight low. The cloud cover is going to keep us pretty warm, and we start seeing the sunshine. It really gets going on Thursday afternoon. We'll top off at 48, and look at all those 48 degrees. That is exactly the normal high temperature for this time of the year, and the overnight lows right around 31 or 32. I guess weather, in a word, normal. Very normal. Enjoy the sunshine. It looks like the first weekend in March is going to be just plain gorgeous. That's your weather forecast. Still to come, sports with Aaron Granstrom and more with Jefferson Robbins. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
I'm John Divis from Wenatchee Dental Arts, and I like to think myself as a comprehensive dentist. We are an office that treats people comprehensively for their dental problems. We do a lot of general dentistry in a broad sense. We don't send everything out. Things that we have the ability to do in the office, we like to keep in the office and under one roof and keep things as complication-free as possible. You can come to one place and have all their dental needs taken care of.
What's the best way to attract a wide variety of beautiful birds to your backyard? By offering the birds the right foods in expertly designed bird feeders from Wild Birds Unlimited. Whether you've been feeding the birds for a while or are just getting started, let our backyard bird feeding specialists show you how to add a little joy to your life and make nature a part of every day. Shop now for exclusive bird foods, feeders, hardware, and more. Wild Birds Unlimited. Products designed by experts. Trusted local advice.
With TV advertising, what we want to do is more deeply connect with the community.
People spot me in different parts around North Central, Costco and Wenatchee, say, hey, you're the pizza guy. And so they wouldn't know that if it weren't for the TV commercials we've done.
We've been here so long that people already know who we are and what we do, but to have that image flash on their television screen as opposed to just hearing it in the radio or seeing it in the newspaper. I just love the fact that we can actually put our finger on when a customer comes in and says, I saw your ad.
It's becoming increasingly difficult in this digital age to know where are your customers listening or watching, because I watch all the different channels that they watch too, like Cooking Channel, History Channel, and so it was wonderful to be able to be on there.
I would say that if you want to do business in Wenatchee, then you should connect with the people of Wenatchee, and there's no better way to do that than with NCWLIFE.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellington here from Live It Up. Join us every week as we answer your questions on health, wealth, and relationships.
We're all about you creating a life that you love, so tune in to Live It Up.
News, weather, and sports. It's all here weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 on your local news source, the NCWLIFE channel. For all the latest news in North Central Washington, go to ncwlife.com or find us on Facebook. Got a news tip? Email us at news@ncwlife.com or call 888-2020.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Wednesday to you. Well, not very happy if you're a baseball fan. No joy in Mudville today. After days of negotiations, Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred announced yesterday that opening day has been canceled. In addition, the first two series of the season, a total of 91 games across the league, have been wiped off the schedule. For Mariner fans, this means Seattle's first two series at Minnesota and Chicago have been canceled. For now, Seattle's home opener is scheduled for April 15th against Houston, which, by the way, is Jackie Robinson Day, is still on. Major League owners and the Players Union can't agree how to fairly share a $10 billion industry. Stay tuned. Well, as the president was making his State of the Union address yesterday, top man of the Seattle Kraken was making his State of the Season address. Ron Francis says it's been a tough first year for the NHL's newest team.
This season has not been easy for the players. It's not been easy for the coaches. It hasn't been easy for our fans. It hasn't been easy for anybody. It's been a tough year. Anything I say is going to sound like an excuse, so I'd rather not get into reasons why. But, you know, these guys have continued to work and battle hard each and every night, and you see that. And that's something that, you know, certainly I appreciate, and hopefully the fans appreciate the effort that they're still putting forward. And it's not easy to go through what they've gone through this season and continue to battle and work. But, you know, that's... You get guys that you try and draft that have character, and you get into these tough situations and you hope they respond that way. And that's, you know, you try and build off of that moving forward. So to hear there's guys that, you know, enjoy playing here, enjoy the city, enjoy being, you know, in this market is exciting for us, and you know, makes it easier for us to build around those guys. You know, I really wish that COVID wasn't so prevalent this year, that our guys could have got out in the community. I think, you know, that's a key part of building our brand and letting people understand our team and our players, because we think we've got some terrific individuals, and hopefully this is behind us next year and we can get guys out into the community as part of it, and continue to build and get better each and every day next season.
As the NHL trade deadline approaches, Francis says the Kraken will be busy fielding calls and taking a look at what can improve the team for the future.
Well, I mean, it's obvious, you know, the way the season has gone, you know, we're not going to make the playoffs. So I think at this point you look at your team and there's pieces you want to keep that you believe are core pieces. And then if teams are calling on other pieces, you have to have those discussions and see what the offers are. And you know, if there's a move that makes sense, then you go ahead and do that. You have to be open for anybody, but, you know, I think you identify the guys that you want to kind of be a part of your core moving forward, and it's going to take, you know, a significant piece to change that direction. So, but that's, I think with any team, you look at your team, you know, everybody uses, Gretzky could get traded, anybody can get traded. So, you know, I think that's something you're constantly looking at, and if something there makes sense that makes your organization better, you know, short term and long term, you have to consider all options.
Now, on the ice, Seattle hosts Nashville tonight at Climate Pledge Arena at 7 o'clock game time, broadcast nationally on TNT. The Wenatchee Wild begin a stretch of 12 games of the month of March tonight at the Town Toyota Center. The West Kelowna Warriors pay a visit, 6 o'clock game time, one of 8 home games this month. Associate head coach Tom Rudrud says the visitors tonight have some key players Wenatchee's going to have to match.
They're a very strong team. They have a couple of guys that are very gifted and among the point leaders in the league. So they have a couple guys that can really do some things offensively. Really are impressive to watch, not so fun to play against.
At this point of the season, obviously we're into March, when the last month of the season, 12 games remaining, 8 of them here. You've played everybody now. I mean, you have a general idea of their strengths and their weaknesses. Does that help at all, or is it just drop the puck and let's go?
Well, I think that it's always good to know your opponent. You can make some adjustments. Typically, in the past, we've had some pretty strong teams, and we like to let the other team make adjustments to play us. This year we don't have quite such a strong team, so we do have to play shut down.
Wenatchee is currently 8th in the BCHL's interior division, but they hope to climb up the ladder a few notches before the playoffs. Voice of the Wild, Art Jecker, says March is a good chance for Wenatchee to begin focusing on its best game.
It's important to put W's together right now, but realistically, you want to be playing your best hockey at this time of the year. So this last month is really a key time to focus back on fundamentals and doing the little things, making sure you play 60 minutes complete, because that is key, especially in this league when there's so much parity. I mean, you got to compete for 60 minutes or you don't have a prayer. So as long as that's kind of our end goal, right? I mean, yeah, the W's, we got to get them, but we got to be playing our best hockey in the first week of April, which is when playoffs are going to get going.
Wenatchee West Kelowna drop the puck tonight, Town Toyota Center, 6 o'clock. A reminder that the mandates are now over, so no restrictions getting into the game. Go to WenatcheeWildHockey.com if you want to get tickets. Several local teams that punched their tickets to the state high school basketball tournaments saw some action today and are still going to play tonight. Moses Lake girls were knocked out of the state 4A tournament this morning in the Tacoma Dome after falling to Emerald Ridge 44-34. Tegan Wiltbank scored a game-high 14 points for the Chiefs. Their season done. Lake Roosevelt advanced to the quarterfinals of the state 2B tournament in the Spokane Arena, 63-43 over Rainier. Celia St. Pierre led the scores, all scores, with 25 points for the Raiders. Lake Roosevelt will face Okanagan tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock in the quarters. Waterville Mansfield girls, first round game today at the state B tournament. We'll have more on that tomorrow morning. Also, Quincy boys facing Blaine in the state 1A tournament at the Sundome in Yakima. And also, we'll, of course, keep you up to date on what's happening on our Facebook page. Lake Roosevelt boys face Coupeville tonight, 9 o'clock in the first round of the state 2B tournament. That's at the Spokane Arena. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom Robinson. Back to you.
Thank you, Eric. People have gotten my name wrong like that before, so think nothing of it. Now let's check in again with Dan Kuntz for what's coming up tomorrow morning on our morning show, Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Here's Dan.
Thank you very much, Jefferson. On tomorrow's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, we'll be talking to Paul Atwood, the director of the production of Frozen Jr. It is the Wenatchee High School Music Department's annual musical. It was supposed to be last autumn, but COVID put the kibosh on that. But they are going to do it. In fact, opening night for Frozen is tonight, and tomorrow a couple of cast members and Paul Atwood will be joining me to talk about the musical as the pipeline of incredible young talent in local theater continues unabated. So the cast of Frozen joins me tomorrow on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll have your weather forecast and everything else you need to start your day. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow morning. We're live and local at 7 a.m. for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Jefferson, back to you.
That'll do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or on our website, NCWLIFE.com. And remember, if you see news happening we'd like to hear from you, you can send us an email, news@ncwlife.com, or give us a call, 888-6295. That's 888-NCWL. I'm Jefferson Robbins. Grant Olson will be back with you tomorrow. Good night.
News, weather, and sports. It's all here weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 on your local news source, the NCW Life channel.